Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this week's episode of Nintendo All-Stars, the great Nintendo show where we tell you about all the things that everyone else is talking about with Nintendo. If you missed last week's episode, basically I am being an aggregator of all the cool content out there that maybe you don't have time to watch, and all the fun stuff that I've learned that now I can share with you, distilled down to a couple minutes, and boom, you just got way more Nintendo stuff in your week in only a couple of minutes. Plus, we have a chance to highlight smaller Nintendo creators, give them some oomph, and give my reactions on some of the crazy stuff other people are saying out there. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Nintendo All-Stars number 2 begins with my friend RGT. Now, RGT is the Libra scales of the week, because he's way up here and he's way down here. We'll start with the good stuff. RGT is working to quit smoking, and that is a massive accomplishment. Look, I know that's something that is considered one of the more difficult things to do on this planet. Kicking addiction of any sort is incredibly tough, and I give him mad props and major accolades for working his butt off to make that happen, and to being open and honest and sharing that with his audience. I think that's really inspiring and empowering, and I give him major props for starting off 2023 with a major good thing. Now, on the other hand, RGT, he made a video about stopping direct hype and saying that Nintendo Direct hype has gotten insane. That's insane. I understand that we shouldn't be looking for a Direct every darn day of the week, but one of the best things about being a Nintendo fan, being a Switch owner, is that this community is more excited and more anticipatory and more predictive than any other gaming community out there. And I think that should be embraced. I think the fact that we have stuff to get so excited about, that we cannot wait to hear Nintendo utter announcements as soon as possible, I think that should be celebrated. Ho-hum boredom is everywhere. And we know Sony ain't talking for a long time. I mean, it is a miracle Microsoft has this new developer direct later this month. But Nintendo, they're reliable, they're regular, and they're really awesome. They also do stealth drops, so what's not to get excited about? Frankly, it's all worth getting excited about. And so trying to temper our expectations, trying to lower our hype, I've never gelled with that. I don't think that's a great way to live. I think life is already trying to pull you down. So whatever you can do to be more excited and exuberant and positive about life, like, go get excited about the Direct. We're going to have a Direct in Q1. It'll almost assuredly be February. It'll probably be on a Wednesday, and it'll probably be soon. And there'll probably be a bunch of great announcements. So yeah, I agree, RGT. Fire Emblem Engage is coming out. Awesome. Kirby Dream Deluxe Port is coming out. Great. Octopath Traveler 2 is coming out. Let's appreciate and enjoy that. We can, but there's not like a limit on enjoyment of life. So if we can enjoy those games, be grateful for those, and also get excited for the next thing, make your forum posts, make your prediction lists, get excited. I think Directs are totally worth flag polling, tent polling, and just getting very, very geeked for, and I don't think anybody should feel bad about it. Now, Beat 'em Ups and Arlo did not release a video this week, which in itself is very interesting, because I make videos like pretty much every single day, so it's very... like, I look at that and it's like, alien life form making a video once a week. How does that compute? I don't get it. I've been making videos every day pretty much since I was 13 years younger. So this is just like, I'm on my hamster wheel. I'm just like video. But looking forward to what they put out next. And since they're not part of today's Nintendo All-Stars, we're bringing in Wolfden, who made a super involved, interesting video on turning a DS Lite into a fat Game Boy Advance. I thought this was a super cool concept, and people regard this Game Boy Macro as like the best way to play Game Boy Advance games. Wolfden is known for his quality and his time investment. This dude puts tons of time into his videos, so much so that I could never do them, and I'm happy to admit that. But he did find out that the Game Boy Macro isn't all it's cracked up to be. And he concluded that if you have a broken DS Lite, sure, it's a great transition for the system. But if your DS Lite works, don't do it. It's not that much better than an original GBA SP. You lose so much functionality for the DS Lite, and it took Wolfden a lot of time, and there were a lot of errors and issues along the way. Seems like a complicated process to achieve a cool looking result, but one that doesn't really scream functionality or even scream superior quality. So hey, he did all the work for us. We can just play our Game Boy Advance games on our OG GBA SPs or on the DS Lite, and you just have the other screen. It's okay. You don't need to break it off unless it's already broken. I want to bring in our Rising Star of the Week earlier today, and make sure if you have any channels that you think deserve some love, put them in the comments, message me about them, shout them out so that I can see them. But today we're talking about OJ Player Essence. All right, this guy has been putting together a lot of really thoughtful videos this past week, including one on how everyone is underestimating Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I thought this was a bogus title when I first read it, and I started to listen thinking, what are you talking about? It's like everybody's most anticipated Switch game, but he makes some great points. He talks about how Breath of the Wild redefined the future of The Legend of Zelda, and we somehow expect this just to be a continuation. People aren't really looking at it as if, hey, this could be another massive shift. And because we've only seen so little of the game, we assume that there's a new mechanic, his goofy arm, and we assume that it's going to be bigger, better, more badass Hyrule, but is that all it's going to be? This is the next major step for Nintendo, as so many of their systems are defined by the Legend of Zelda game that they house. Now, whether this does bring about a new Nintendo Switch system or not, it is clearly the next era for the Legend of Zelda, and the next era of the Legend of Zelda should be regarded with massive anticipation, and I think it is. But I do understand this underestimation aspect as well, because it has been 6 years, all right? It's been a long time, 5.5 years. If it was just a sequel, that's like a 2 or 3 year cadence. You look back at Mario Galaxy and how they iterated on that, and it was still great, but it was iterative. We're kind of, I think, subconsciously expecting Tears of the Kingdom to be very iterative, but there's a chance that when we see this game for real, like the big blowout, it's actually very bold. And I love that this video brought that to my attention. I also love that he covered a recent Bayonetta 3 1.2 patch that improves the camera controls and reworks a lot of Viola's mechanics so that the game plays a lot better. It's one thing developers, I don't think, get enough credit for when they take an already successful game that's been out for a while and say, you know what, we're still going to go back and make it better. A lot of times the games just get left as is and it just sort of drifts off to sea, but Platinum did work to make Bayonetta perform better and play better, mechanically shifting some of the windows and whatnot for Viola, and I love bringing that to my attention. Plus, all of the great Fire Emblem Engage hype. I'm really ready for that game later this week. Make sure to check out OJ Player Essence. I'll put links to all of these channels in the description down below. Now, Game Explain was covering a ton of stuff, and a lot of that was Mario Kart Tour related. There's a new space tour, and as they love to do, they went really micro in depth on every facet of the new racetracks, of the differences between them and their console counterparts, and they put the tracks through the paces, evaluating the space tour. I don't play Mario Kart Tour, but if you do, that is a hub for that kind of content. And they reviewed Moonrider. I think Moonrider looks absolutely awesome, and I actually just got a review code, so I'm eager to see how it plays. It looks like a very faithful 16-bit Ninja Gaiden style game, and it's got great art, great animation, and a 2-hour playtime, which sounds like but actually I love that. I'm ready for that. We need more shorter games that just condense and distill everything down to the most awesome moments. And if you can give me 2 hours of fantastic side-scrolling action, in many ways I prefer that over 16, because I'm playing my 25-hour Hollow Knight playthrough, and that one is taking a ton of time. So Moonrider looks really great. It's out now on Switch. It's also on Steam, and I think everywhere else, but I think this is going to be an early indie gem if you want to get in on something that is getting just rave reviews across the board and looks fantastic. Thanks, Game Explain, for bringing light to something that not many people have really heard of. Last but not least, we've got Spawnwave, who talked about the next big thing from Nintendo, which I also talked about. He was giving some credit to the Legend of Zelda movie rumor and how Nintendo is really focusing a lot of energy onto the multimedia sector. We talked about that here as well. I thought it was cool to see both of us kind of sharing a similar insight. And then he also covered TMT Shredder's Revenge moving to Netflix. Netflix has games. I literally have not played a single one of them, but they have some great stuff. They have Point P, which I've heard amazing things about. Still need to check it out. They have Into the Breach, which is phenomenal. And now they have TMT Shredder's Revenge. You can play with a Netflix subscription on your mobile device. It was one of the best indie titles on Switch last year, bringing back Donatello, Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Raphael from my childhood to yours, or just to our adulthood. I had a blast playing it with my brother Cobb. Fantastic game, and now you can play it on your phone. I imagine it works pretty well. It's kind of a simplistic game. There's not a lot of button inputs really required of you, and I think it could work on a mobile screen, although I haven't tried it myself. And of course, Spawn Wave covered every other news bit out there for every other system. It's been sort of a slower week for Nintendo, with Microsoft hogging the spotlight as we have actor reveals for Hogwarts Legacy. We've got the developer direct coming on the 25th, Redfall, Starfield delay, all sorts of rumors and wonderings about. But Nintendo-wise, it's been a bit of a slower week. I expect it to pick up with Fire Emblem Engage next week, and then the direct stuff is going to really start building in RGT. I'm telling you, it's okay to be excited. I bet you are. I bet deep down inside that beautiful soul of yours, you have some huge, huge direct aspirations, excitement, enthusiasm, and hope. And I hope that you let that blossom. All right, buddy? Let it blossom. We all should be excited for Nintendo, because this world, it tries hard to pull us down. And so when we have a chance to rise up, get excited, be positive, let's grab it, baby. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Check out the channels in the description down below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, SwitchForce out.